He come in the house scratching, sweating, sniffing, talking to everybody all crazy. And he like we owe him something, you know, like he top dog because he had a day. Everybody got to walk on eggshells in the house and don't say nothing to Thomas.
Mr. Berry, do you do that? Do you call her names in front of her children?
She's the judge who gives rules on the law and life. She's intense with common sense. She's Judge Lynn Toller on Divorce Court, where real couples deal with real life. Thomas and Patricia met more than a decade ago, during which time they were both drug addicts. But soon after the birth of their son, the couple sought help and got clean. However, Thomas has since relapsed, and Patricia wonders if this marriage can be rehabilitated.
Today I want to know if Thomas wants to be a husband and father to our children, or does he want to go back to the streets in his old ways?
Yes, I'm here today to reconcile some differences between me and my wife, and hopefully the judge can resolve them for us.
Patricia wants Thomas to clean up his act or the marriage is over. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Patricia Berry and Thomas Berry. Mr. and Mrs. Berry, you have known each other for 10 years, but you have only been married for 1. You have a 4-year-old son together, and you're looking to call it a day. Maybe.
Maybe.
There's a lot wrong in this relationship, and I think there's a lot right. Mrs. Berry, you're saying if it doesn't get fixed, you have got to go. Mr. Berry, I think you wanted to save it and to make it work, but you can clear me up if that's not right. Mrs. Berry, if you can't get what you need from him and the appropriate changes, you're seeking $4,000, which you say is the value of a car that Mr. Berry had impounded, and then you had to go and buy a new car because you lost the car to impound. And we will talk about that momentarily. But before we do, Mrs. Berry, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me about your relationship, your marriage, and what your concerns are today?
Sure. 2002, shortly after Thomas' wife died, I met Thomas. I was working the streets. I was on crack cocaine. He was using in the streets. He was on heroin, cocaine, pills, whatever. And we fell in love. We was inseparable. 2007, on his birthday, I found out we had a baby come on the way. Mm-hmm. Well, our baby was born 2 months early in the hospital. They told me I could not have my baby. My aunt stepped up to the plate, her and her husband, to get my son and give him a better life until I got myself together. Thomas started first. He wanted to seek to be a family with me and the baby.
Right.
So soon followed, my daughter called me and said that she needed me to be a mom now, and she was 14. I made that decision in one day, and I went to a shelter. I didn't go to rehab, but I got myself together. I did that for my children, but now I'm doing it for me.
Right. Good for you. Good for you. And how's the baby that's with your other relatives? Is she okay?
I got him back. I got my baby back. I got my baby.
Him back.
Yeah, we got him back. He started it.
And he's doing fine.
He's great.
He's with you. Everything's cool.
But everything's not cool.
With him?
With him, everything is great.
What's not cool with you?
What's not cool with me is that soon as it seemed like the judge signed off, I went to parenting classes. I was on a bus 8 hours a day, 3 days a week, doing drug screens. I finally got my baby back. Mm-hmm. I'm working on my bachelor's degree in psychology. As soon as the judge signed off, he relapsed. Everything went downhill. He verbally abusive to me and the children. Sex life sucks. Sucks. Sucks.
She was real proper. She was telling an unpleasant story in a very proper way until she got to that sex life, and she had to tell me.
And he still messed around with these addict women in the streets.
Now, Mr. Berry, she gave a very short, succinct story about the drama that was and is your life. Was she accurate about what happened?
To a degree.
What would you
I don't know
like
about
to...
no mess with no women in the street, no addict women. I'm not into that.
I changed his phone number twice. First time he cheated on me. Guess what he cheated on me with? A panhandler at the gas station. Second time he cheated on me. I found out about it. He had a relationship with her while we had our son. That's when he gave me an ultimatum. Get clean or leave him alone. That's what I'm saying today. Get clean or leave me alone.
I'm already in that process.
Okay.
Mr. Berry? Did you have a relationship with a panhandler at the gas station?
That's the environment I was in at the time, Your Honor. Yeah, I did.
That was the environment that you were in. I understand. Where are you currently in your lifestyle?
Well, now
What is it you do?
I'm at peace in my lifestyle. I'm elated to see my wife going in the direction she's going in.
Okay.
I mean, that's the most beautiful thing I can think. And my child, to see where she came from, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And know that I was a part of that and guiding her in that direction. Yeah, I fell off of my...
Hang on there. Were you a part of that and guiding her in that direction?
Yes, I was. You know.
Was he?
Yes, he started it. He gave me an ultimatum after I found out he had a relationship.
It wasn't
he said,
an ultimatum.
Your words were either you can get clean and be with me, or I'm gonna stay with that woman.
No, what it was at that time, I didn't even think we were in a relationship.
Because he was
still on the
fancy all of a
street,
sudden. He got
I was clean. I wasn't seeing her or none of that.
You did see me.
I didn't even think we was in a relationship anymore. I left to get away from her so I can get my life together.
So you got your life together.
Yes, and I was going.
And then you got back with her.
And I got back that day was she speaking on.
Right.
I was gonna have a date with another female.
You weren't gonna have
Another
picnic.
woman.
And she needed something to eat, so I dropped that and came.
You didn't have a
Memorial Day.
Hang on.
You didn't have a date because you were telling me.
Hey, talk to me. Talk to me.
And I kind of throw the other lady off and got some plates, and me and her had a picnic instead.
Right, because I didn't know he was in a
And the lady called me on the
relationship
phone because I had didn't show
up.
up.
A lie.
And then that's when she wanted to get
making
clean.
up a lie.
Well, Ms. Berry, let's give the man some credit. He picked you, and you guys were heading in the right direction for a minute. Now, we know we may have backtracked, but right at that moment, he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, he was.
He was doing the right thing.
He was doing great because he started off getting our son. Right. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd have had the strength to go get him.
And she appreciates that. She's acknowledged it, and she appreciates that.
When divorce court continues, has Thomas been exposing their children to his drug use?
The thing is, Ms. Toller, he never thought about me. When he was going around getting these drugs, he never thought about, well, maybe she might relapse. What's gonna happen to these kids?
Is your divorce final, but your ex is still giving you grief? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court is back with the case of Patricia Berry, who claims her husband Thomas cheats on her with other drug addicts. But does Thomas have a good reason for his illicit affairs?
Did you have a relationship with a panhandler at the gas station?
That's the environment I was in at the time, Your Honor.
Where are you now?
Right now, I'm clean.
How clean are you?
Yeah.
I'm abstaining from all drugs.
All drugs? All
drugs.
Alcohol?
Alcohol.
Everything.
All drugs.
How long has that been?
It's been 60 days now.
60 days.
Yes.
When you relapsed after that first when you relapsed earlier, after that first initial push to get your son back and all of that, how long were you back in that life?
It might have been a couple of years.
You know, and the thing is, Ms. Toller, he never thought about me. When he was going around getting these drugs, he never thought about, well, maybe she might relapse. What's gonna happen to these kids? He never thought about it. He come in the house scratching, sweating, sniffing, talking to everybody all crazy. And he like we owe him something, you know, like he top dog because he had a day. Everybody got to walk on eggshells in the house and don't say nothing to Thomas. But then it started being every day. My kids walking on eggshells scared to say something. I don't like that. Because when he gets so verbal abusive and he brings up to my children on how I used to be in the streets where you need to go back and blank, blank, blank in front of my 2 teenage daughters, in front of my 3-year-old son.
Mr. Berry, do you do that? Do you call her names in front of her children?
I may have on occasions.
Occasions? Okay,
on
well,
occasions I may have out of anger. I may have. I wouldn't just say I didn't.
Were you high when you did it, or is that something?
No, see, everything.
You was high every time he did it.
Everything I do, I'm high.
Because you were high.
I didn't need all that information.
But if you're high every day, then obviously you're high when you did it.
That's not true.
Do you understand that? Let me ask you this, Ms. Berry. You used to be high all the time,
Yes,
too.
I did. 13
Once
and a half
somebody gets
years.
high, they do whatever.
Right, and you know what?
It's not directed at you. It's not because of you. You're suffering from it. But that's a function of the addiction.
Exactly, you're right. And I've been through that. But the thing about it was, when I was out there in my addiction, I did not involve my children in it. They don't need to see that. My children was with my great-grandmother till their father stepped up and came and got them. My children never seen me use drugs. They heard. But he just brought it out. He told them what I did and how I did it, and you blank this, and you blank that. They don't need to hear that. I talk to my girls. Me and my daughters are like this because I love them to death. I do anything for them. I down across for them if I had to.
Right.
But I refuse to let somebody disrespect me in front of them because, first of all, there's no secrets that they don't know because I tell them because I don't ever want them to stand on that corner I stood on.
Yeah. Mr. Berry, what she's telling me is, yes, when she was in the throes of her addiction, she at least had enough heart and will to absent herself from the people that she would hurt while she was in her addiction, and you didn't have the dignity to do that.
No.
Respond to that.
I didn't want to be at home being high.
But you were.
I would come home because she wouldn't even allow me to be in the house if I was high. If I was high, she wouldn't even allow me to be in the house. I would go to a shelter.
Wouldn't you not want to be there because your children are there and you don't want them exposed to that kind of behavior or
He told
life?
me he a grown man. He could do what he want to do. That's a part of being grown. To me, I think being grown is do what you got to do and what you need to do, not what you want to do. Because if I did what I want to do, I wouldn't be standing here today. This is what I had to do.
I do what I got to do. I do what I got to do even with my addiction.
When divorce court continues, the couple's sex life reduces Patricia to tears.
And then she gonna go grabbing and raging and stirring and crying and screaming and getting overly emotional. And I'll be like, well, I
Because he
ain't
turned me
doing
down. He
nothing.
made me feel less than a woman. That's why.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court returns with the case of Patricia Berry, who claims her husband's drug addiction has ruined their marriage. But is Patricia being fair?
Let me ask you this, Ms. Berry. You used to be high all the time,
Yes,
too.
I did.
Once
13 and a
somebody
half
gets
years.
high, they do whatever. In addition to being a drug addict, which is quite enough, you say he's also jealous and controlling. Explain
You know
that
what?
to
The
me.
thing is that this goes back further because it's like anybody that I'm close to, he's jealous of anybody who's, who he think that I might have feelings for. But most of them is friendship feelings, like he's jealous of the relationship my son has with his aunt and uncle because I let him go over there, sometimes 2 weeks at a time. Why? Because if my auntie would have not given up her job, sending her 2 girls in college to come get my baby,
Right.
I wouldn't be here. How can I deny them seeing that boy?
Because they love him and you respect
That's
them.
their baby. We gonna share him forever. We gonna share that baby.
Right. Let's talk about even today. Do you not like it when she allows that boy to go see
Look,
his
I'm so
relatives?
grateful for what her aunt and uncle done for
Why you
her,
complaining?
for my son, but they.
For you too. It wasn't
No,
just
it wasn't for me.
Yes, it
for
was.
her. That's her family.
That's your son, though.
I
That
can
they
raise my
took.
kids.
But is it
How?
your son?
We
My
was in
son.
addiction. We was
Then they
smoking
did
crack
it for
every
you.
day.
No.
When anybody takes care of your child, they're doing it for you.
Well, they did it for the both of us too.
Yeah.
done it for-
Don't just say it was
Yeah,
for
they done
her.
it for the
It's
both
for
of
you
us.
too.
And
You
I'm-
have an obligation that you could not fulfill, and somebody else took it
And
on.
I'm grateful for that.
And
I'm
you know
grateful for
what?
what they done.
Hang on.
And don't mind in the least about them coming
Why
and
do you
getting him
complain
and
about
staying
it?
there. But I think there should be a limit.
On what?
I think
There wasn't a limit when he
'cause
took
it makes
him.
it hard. I have to
on.
fight too hard to get my son to know who I am. And I have to fight for that.
You know
and I
what?
don't think I should have to fight for my son to know who I am.
Yes, you
He
do.
lives
And
with
I'm going to tell you why.
Well, yeah, I do, because
Yes, you do.
it's my son.
Because you screwed it up. You have to fight to get back what you
I didn't screw that
lost.
part.
No, yes, you did. When you two were high and you had a kid, you lost all your rights. And you got to fight to get them back.
I wasn't getting high when my son was born. I was not getting high when my son was born.
Is that accurate?
That's not accurate because he was getting high because Ms. Tola, I was in so much pain from that C-section that when I came home, I had him walk to the dope house and we smoked it together for me to get out the pain of the C-section. That's a lie.
What
He was.
together?
You remember when he got that from me?
I believe it. No, let me hang on. In the beginning, you were upset because you said that the sex was non-existent. Explain that to me.
5 minutes, maybe a month. And
5
then when he
minutes a
do it, he feels like I shouldn't ask for sex. If I do, it's like he frowns his face up at me. He makes me feel so horrible. Ugh. I'm his wife.
Mr. Berry, what's your response when she tries to initiate romance? Are you...
I think you got to initiate romance in the proper manner.
What?
Actually, look, I didn't.
What's the proper manner?
Look, I didn't
The way
explain
he
this-
want it.
Hang on.
I didn't explain this to her already. I don't like people looking at me all super seductive. I don't like that.
He don't like
Because to me, it characterized when we was in the street and she'd be looking at me seductively, talking
'Cause
about
I
I
loved
love
you from the
and
day
then
I
when I
met
come
you.
out, she with him down in the
Because I was
basement.
tricking to make some money,
So I
so
tried
we
to
both
explain
can
that
get
to her
high.
why I don't like
Okay,
you looking at
hang
me
on,
in that
Mr. Barry.
manner.
Now, I understand. I know you were out on the street making money for both of you with
Right.
your body. How would you like her to approach you with the sex thing?
How would I like
No,
this-
don't get now. If it's like that, don't tell me.
No, I'm just honestly let me know when you're in the mood to have sex.
Don't I do that all the time?
Honestly, let me know. Don't.
Well, just tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, buddy, it's
You can say,
time."
"Look, baby, you can say, "Look, baby, I'm horny
Did I
tonight."
say that last
might-
week?
Hang on, Miss Barry. I'm trying to listen to Mr. Barry. Go ahead.
You say, "Look, baby, I'm horny tonight." I might say, "Well, I don't feel like it."
Right.
And then she gonna go rapping and raging and stirring and crying and screaming and getting overly emotional, and I'll be like, "Well, I
Because he
ain't
turns me
doing
down. He
nothing."
make me feel less than a woman. That's why.
If she get emotional like that, just over the
Because
issue.
I'm a human. I'm human.
We all are.
Okay, well, just because I don't show the emotions you do, I'm human. I feel now.
Okay, baby, sorry.
When divorce court continues, can Thomas come clean with Judge Lynn?
Now, you need to bring something to the table. What is it you're going to do to save this union?
Divorce court returns with the case of Thomas and Patricia Berry, who are in court today to learn if their marriage can be saved.
Mr. Barry, you got a woman who is strong as all outdoors. She is beautiful.
True.
She stood by you when things were ugly. She got on the street and tricked for you when you need to get high. Now, you need to bring something to the table. What is it you're going to do to save this union?
Look, Your Honor, I've been bringing stuff to I don't need nobody to trick for me, number one. I always made my own money. I always worked for my money. I always had a job. That's how we got where we are, by me working. It's just that
She didn't do that. So she lied when she said she was out
we
on
worked
the street.
together on it, but
Mr. Barry, you're ducking and dodging, slipping and sliding all the way through. You
Well,
tell me what you're going to do for her.
anyway, she knows that I'm reliable. She knows that I provide for my family. And she knows that whatever it is that they need around that house that I'm going to do,
We need you.
I'm there.
You're not there, Tom.
Do you
I'm
know, Mr. Barry, what
don't
it
need you,
appears
but
to
we
me,
love
you
you.
don't even hear what she's saying. You don't, can
I
you
hear
tell,
that
no,
every
no,
day.
listen. Can you tell
Exactly.
me what she's unhappy about?
Yes.
Tell me.
She's unhappy about my prior drug use.
Prior 60 days.
Prior.
This is
for
what I'm
real.
going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Usually I have a whole lot to say about what people need to do, but I don't this
Okay.
time. I just got one thing. I don't want you guys transferring funds amongst yourself because it's not going to help anything. I'm not going to deal with that. I know what needs to happen. You need to stay on your own alone until he's had enough time sober that you're
Thank you.
comfortable that that's the life.
Thank you.
Because you can't fix it. You're mad about it, and you can't fix it, and he has to prove to you. I'm not worried about you. I know you're going to be strong and right. Mr. Barry, get her to fall in love with you again. You have to do that.
She ain't gonna allow me to remove her.
I love my
She gonna come right where I'm
listen,
at. Watch.
Listen, you do it right. You have to give her what she wants. You have to actually think and look about her and not yourself.
That's it. All
That's
about
how you woo. He needs to come to you, and he needs to come to you correct, and you don't need him till he's able to do that and do that for a considerable period of time. You need to respect yourself and what you've done. Mr. Barry, I believe you can do it.
I either do
I
that-
think you the man for the job.
I'll do
but
that
you
or leave
have
it
to believe
alone.
in it, but you have to think about her before you think about yourself. Can you do that for me?
Yes, I can. I sure can.
7 months, I'm gonna call you, see what you're doing. You come back here and you're not right, I'm gonna talk about you like a dog. This matter is adjourned.
Got it.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Thomas and Patricia are taking the break from one another that Judge Lynn recommended. Thomas has relapsed twice since leaving the show, but he is now in outpatient treatment and has started GED classes. They report that their sex life has picked up since leaving the show, and they plan activities with each other every weekend. Both are committed to making their marriage work and are looking forward to their upcoming wedding anniversary.